Hey guys, it's Chris Johnson, UCLA national champion. I need y'all to listen to the What's Bruin show. These dudes are off the hook.
You're listening to the What's Bruin Show, part of the What's Bruin Show network, with your hosts, Jake Berryfield and Mike Regalado, and occasionally some friends, talking all things UCLA sports. And now, it's time for the What's Bruin Show.
Well, hello, and welcome to the What's Bruin Show. I am your host, Jake Merrifield. I'm joined by my good friend, Mike Regalado.
Morning. Oh, yeah.
Was it Mike?
Mike
Regalado.
That guy.
We're getting a lot of these.
Hey, Mike.
The last two UCLA coaches, drops for them saying,
It was Mike, right?
talking to you. It was Mike talking about you.
And I'm still waiting on an invitation to go see Dropkick Murphy with Justin Fry.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
That's gonna be awesome, dude. Yeah, good job, Mikey. So this is an MJ edition, of course.
The ceiling is the roof.
The MJ edition.
They're all MJ editions until you. I know you're listening, all of you. Jamaal and Bill's not listening, but
No, he's definitely not listening. It's okay. It is the MJ edition, and that's what the edition will be going forward. But
Jamal,
okay.
get back here so we can do a podcast.
Yeah. You know, he made a bad. You know, I was about to say a bad vibes podcast. He made like 2 in a row, but he did a car cast after the very tragic Laker game, which on
one?
The Slack channel I almost vowed not to podcast for the next 3 weeks. So you're lucky I'm sitting here in front of you, Mikey, because I was so distraught. I woke up 3 times last night, just like. I woke up, my head came off the pillow, and I was like, damn it.
First off, LeBron.
This is terrible.
The game wasn't decided on one play. Y'all were up by 20.
There's no excuse for losing
terrible.
that game. I don't
Take
Mike,
a lap.
Mike.
Take
Mike,
a lap, LeBron.
Mike. I don't want to talk Lakers with you because I'll end up punching something, and I don't want it to be you.
Probably be.
I don't want it to be you. But anyways, needless to say, it was very sad. But the reason I bring it up is because Jamaal did a car cast, which I'll probably be publishing around the same time I publish this. So we'll be like 24 hours late, but you're still going to have 2 days before Game 3 at Staples Center at the Crypt or whatever to process it. But
it's okay. It was
absolutely tragic.
It was a horrible Monday night for LA sports anyway because almost simultaneously the LA Kings, got their ass kicked 7-4.
Wow,
7-4. Usually 4 goals is good enough to win any hockey game. Giving up 7, not so much.
Wait. How many did they score?
The Kings scored 4.
And they didn't win?
Because they gave up 7.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Bummer.
It's a bummer, man.
Anyways, it's the What's Bruin Show on the What's Bruin Show Network. On Twitter, Instagram, Threads, at What's Bruin Show. Email is what'sbruinshow@gmail.com. Or you can also enjoy us on Patreon, patreon.com/what'sbruinshow, or what'sbruin.substack.com, or what'sbruinshow.com. All those things you can subscribe for about how much, Mike?
$2.
Or a couple bucks more. But we appreciate all of your support sending the What's Bruin Show into the future. You can also get the What's Bruin Show on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search What's Bruin Show. And you can get your merch. Look in the show notes at a My Locker site. And you can also call the hotline, which we need a couple hotline calls, guys. It's been about a month or so. It's a slow time of the season for sure.
Yeah, who's going to the spring game?
But we need the hotline active.
Call up. Tell us your situation. How was it? What'd you think? You know?
Mike, you want to know their situation? Like, are they single or married or something, Mike? I mean...
No, about the spring game.
You're wearing a bird shirt for a reason, I think.
I am.
Why don't you chill out?
Oh, because I'm
there, buddy.
I'm down on T-shirts.
Oh.
The heat is starting to arise, and it is complete T-shirt season.
I'm saying, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Yeah, for real. Anyways, the hotline, 805-399-4WBS.
Suck it, Raina Troy.
Suck it, Raina Troy. Suck it, Raina Troy. Michael was not happy when I announced that he had a ticket last week. He was not. Guys,
did what, you publicizing it?
He basically flipped me off.
I was like,
whatever. I don't care. It was fun. Suck it, Raina Troy, indeed. And I guess that's it, Mikey. We're going to do like kind of a loosey-goosey show, I think, because we really just have a collection of headlines. We have some things to celebrate for sure.
Yeah. It's weird. There's not a lot of news.
We're going to get on to celebrating it right now.
It was Mike, right?
It was Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. But so it's gonna basically just be a show of headlines, and some of these are connected to an article you may have written for Bro,
bro,
and some of them may not. but
I can confirm
a lot of them are.
and deny both.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Mikey. So, with that being said, let's just get into all of the headlines. Okay, Mikey. So first up on the plate is, I guess, UCLA's first official function under Coach Foster, which was Friday Night Lights last Friday night. That's accurate, right? It's the first kind of big thing.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the practices, which you have seen a culture change in just the 6 practices prior, 6, 7, 8, 8 practices prior.
Yeah. This is like the first event they were like, hey, come on out for, right?
Yeah, bring it down. Even though practices are open. Exactly. Yeah. But to have this kind of festival atmosphere, first off, well done. And secondly, promoting it to where he estimated about 2,000 people there. Freaking fantastic. And
well, don't bury the lead, Mike, because the breaking news, the big thing here is, you were involved in the, the publicity for this event because of this little quote here.
All right, like I told you guys, I was going to read all the articles and come down with the top 3. There's a top 4, but we're missing one.
Okay, so what Coach Foster's talking about there is he before Thursday practice or Wednesday's practice or before?
No, that was after Friday Night Lights. That was his post Friday Night Lights.
He gave a press conference after Friday Night Lights.
Yes,
and he said what?
And he said he's going to be reading each and every one of our articles and ranking us on Tuesday.
And so, when you guys heard that, were you like, what? That's kind of an interesting thing to do, right?
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, okay. Especially since Chip Kelly didn't. Even Mick Cronin says, I don't read that stuff. So the fact that he's taking some time to see what is being written, and especially right now, hey, if he goes 0-12 the next 2 seasons, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
But right now, it is all about what he's done to bring back kind of just like a fervor, a celebration, just something
to be
back
clear,
to Westwood.
And this is more of another tactic for engagement, right? I don't think we're believing
and it was very
that
simple.
Foster is reading the reviews of Friday Night Lights for the factual content of the matter of I wonder what Mike thinks about the DBs. He's reading it just to engage with the guys and say, hey, you guys are doing your job. Let me see how you guys do. I think it's kind of a fun little thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, with that being said, he talked about how there was one missing. Who was missing?
Haley Sawyer from the Daily News.
But otherwise, you had Bro there. You had
LA Times,
there,
Rivals,
LA Times,
and Daily Bruin.
So very cool. So here's the rest of that quote.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to go Bro. It was Mike, right?
It was Mike.
Mike.
Okay.
I'm going to give Mike. It was very detailed. I felt like I was there after I read it.
Okay.
Second is going to...
Who the hell cares about second? You know who got first? Mikey!
If you're not first, you're last.
Ooh, Mikey with the rare Ricky Bobby quote, which he hates.
Right.
Great job, Mike. So that's cool. You know.
I got to say, when he did say
That's
that,
fun.
I was a little delirious at that point because I believe it was 9:30 at night, 9:45 when we're interviewing him, and I still had a long ass article to write. So when he said that, I'm like, oh, all right. Now I have a base, an anchor, a theme to which I can write my story, which I did. I admit, made it more about the environment itself, which is fine. Because I did talk about what we actually did see in practice itself.
Right.
But I just wanted to add a little bit more, give some more flavor to what I experienced.
Well, anyways, good job, Mike. You got a positive review. Now, do you think that, where do you think the Daily News would have slotted in there?
He said 3B.
Oh, he did actually rate that one.
But
Okay.
Haley got some extra props because she was the only one that's putting stuff on the TikTok. So, yeah.
So she got the #1 TikTok feed. But anyways,
yeah,
Mike,
she got the social media poll.
very proud of you.
Thank you.
That's fun. It's fun. And it's cool that Coach Foster's getting to know everybody. Not that he didn't already know everybody because he's been on the staff for a long ass time, right? So he knows all the faces anyway.
But he never talked to them.
But he never talked to anybody because why? Why?
Well,
Chip Kelly can kind of be a dick.
Well, I was going to say
complex. New regime. This is part of the new culture, the brand new culture, right? Yeah.
And how little did Deshaun Foster have to do just to bring out 2,000 people.
That is a very good point.
100 recruits and their family members. It did not take that much to do.
So before we, just to address that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It does feel like something is, at the very least, something's brewing in Westwood. To cop our show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little refreshing to see some energy going into the program. Yeah. And look, this is still within. You have to put it into context, right? Deshaun Foster still is, a complete unknown hire for the UCLA head coaching position. It's a guy who does not have any head coaching experience at all.
Mm-hmm.
This guy doesn't have any coordinator experience at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if you Athlon just put out a show today where they're ranked the 31 new head coaches. And where did Foster come in?
31?
27th or 26th, 27th. However, they spent some time saying, look, you can't really upgrade Foster because he has no experience, right? And we don't know. It's a complete unknown, which is absolutely true and very, very fair. But they both, the two hosts on that show were both like, yeah, but, we can, it looks like he's putting together at least reviving some energy. At least he's doing positive things. We're going to talk about this whole show, the different headlines we're going to hit. There's not really any negatives that we're going to hit. And we're not going to know how this program is until they actually get on the field and perform. So it's going to be a long summer of just kind of speculation. And the bar certainly isn't going to be set super high with expectations, or it shouldn't be, because of the folks they lost and all that stuff. But at the same time, he's not making any enforced errors. He's not throwing up anything that oh my God, warning signs. The klaxons aren't ringing of, oh shit, what's going on here, right? We're getting nothing but little positive signs. And even if they're little things, that's a little bit refreshing. So that's very cool.
Yeah, it's just different from the stoic just approach to the media that
Chip Kelly can kind of be a
obviously
dick.
At the beginning, kind of pushback, a little standoffish, and Chip Kelly had his moments of happiness and glee, and was like, wow, he's smiling.
He could be fun to interview for sure,
definitely.
But then he could also not be very fun.
He could also be very complex and just shut off,
and it could be very hard for you to do your job as a reporter.
Exactly, and for example, every time there was an injury question, the player was unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
Today, Foster was asked about Gary Smith, the defensive lineman. And I mean, this was just my opinion. I don't know what Foster was thinking at that point, but he paused and he's like, to me, it appeared like he was thinking, should I say it? And then he just turned to us. He's like, you know what? Yeah, he has a broken ankle. And
there you go.
He was. The media said oh, that's very refreshing, by the way, to just have you tell us exactly what is going on. And then
you guys actually gave him that feedback.
Yeah.
What did he say?
I don't remember off of.
Did he,
at that
wait,
point,
did he say this?
Chip Kelly can kind of be a
Was that
dick.
a direct
He did
quote
not.
from Deshaun Foster?
It was not.
Are we breaking news here?
That is not breaking news at all. Just want to be clear. That was not said by him. But he was also asked about a few other personnel and injury updates, and he's just upfront about it.
Yeah.
Especially in spring, what do you have to hide? A guy broke his ankle. Okay, well, I guess he has to rehab, right?
Yeah.
That's what else is there to take away from that?
Yeah, and that's all cool. And it all kind of folds into, you said it, a lot of what you've been saying right now is Foster is a direct contrast to Chip Kelly and how they're dealing with the media. But that's not the whole picture that we're trying to emphasize here.
No.
We're also talking about how just fan engagement in general, instead of treating practice like it's a top secret mission, right? He's trying to get people engaged in the program, which he needs to do because we've had record low crowds at the Rose Bowl for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm was completely sapped out of the fan base for whatever. I mean, there were positive things on the field for UCLA football at times, but overall,
it wasn't enough to get people in the seats.
Overall, it was a net negative, and it sucked the life out of the program seemingly. And now, you can't look. We're not saying that UCLA is going to be terrific on the field next year because we don't know. But what we can say is, at least at this point, this quote is it's not true right now.
It doesn't feel like there's any excitement for UCLA football.
Nor does this one.
Where is the energy and excitement coming from with UCLA football?
Deshaun Foster's generating it right now, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Just quick sidebar. We don't know how UCLA is going to do next year, but something that we talked about, I forget when we talked about it, we broke down how good or bad was UCLA? Could UCLA be compared to the Big Ten? And so in the coming weeks, I'm going to have a stats comparison of UCLA stats from last year compared to the rest of the Big Ten. Offense, defense, just looking at everything. And so far, UCLA is not going to win the Big Ten conference, but I think they'll be competitive. That's the fallacy of thinking that UCLA and all the Pac-12 teams going to the Big Ten, they're going to get their butts kicked. It's like, there are like 3 teams that are really good, and the rest are like, eh.
The problem is too, and I look forward to reading that, Mike. The problem is as well, like there's just so much change with all of the teams that are going into the Big
that's my point
Ten.
too. Yeah,
like these are teams that have all like Oregon, Washington, UCLA, and USC are all in transitions.
Even Michigan,
of some sorts.
Ohio State.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying about the ones entering the Big Ten. Yeah. And then when you get to the Big Ten, you're like, whatever.
All of them are. All the Pac-12 schools are
breaking into quarterbacks.
Yeah,
to a degree.
Yeah,
Ethan Garbers is the most of an incumbent. He's the one with the most starting experience.
I guess so. Yeah, okay, he did start.
You know,
but
Dylan
Gabriel's
played a lot.
Yeah,
before.
that's true. Yeah, but he wasn't at Oregon though.
No, I know.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying for them, everybody's breaking in new quarterbacks to some degree or another. Ethan Garber's actually the elder statesman of that
he's
group.
he's the veteran.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but that's what it is.
Oh my God.
Hey, we need to stay on target, though.
Okay, we
stay
will.
on target.
Yeah,
but what were you going to say?
Mike? Oh, just something funny too. Like there was a recruit standing next to me, and I said, dude, that was funny as heck. Can I quote you on that? And he was serious too.
No.
He said he was just looking at Ethan Garbers because Ethan Garbers was actually having a pretty good stretch. He goes, yeah, Ethan Garbers is so much better than Caleb Williams. I was like, oh, I'm putting that on Twitter.
That's funny.
A lot of UCLA fans were like, okay, cool, not making a big thing out of it. The USC fans came out of the woodwork for that tweet.
I wonder why. It might, yeah.
Okay, enough with the sidebars.
The truth of that may remain to be seen.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, but hey, whatever. Okay, well, anyways, let's get back to just Mikey. I want to talk first about what the actual Friday night was from a publicity event point of view. How did it work? Who was there? What did you think of the presentation of the Friday Night Lights, first of all? And then we'll talk about the practice after that.
It was just interesting to see because it was actually funny because I didn't see it. I went later to go see it. Uh-huh. There was kind of a small running joke with me and Tracy McDonald and a few
like that joke?
A few people with especially on our Slack channel about the.
I saw some heavy Slack channeling going on. And by the way,
the bleachers that were in Lot 8, it was kind of sad. And it was like, if this is foreshadowing what the event is, this is going to be painful.
Rough.
Because it was just literally like a bleacher that you put on grass.
Yeah.
And it could maybe fit 25 people.
And to be fair, UCLA probably had no idea whether or not people were actually going to show or not.
Yeah.
Right?
So it was very funny because they only had one of those in this whole long stretch of the wall along Lot 8. And if you're sitting in the front row, you could not see the field.
Nice.
And there were like
you're too low.
There were like 10
the concrete walls above you.
Yeah. And so there were like 10 people sitting on the second and the highest looking over. And it was just like, oh God, if this is going to be, like I said, if this is,
it'd be one of these.
Yeah.
But did it turn out to be that?
No, because you go to the festival area, which was north of Spalding Field, in between that area. I guess, is that the end of Bruin Walk? No. Bruin Walk's on the north side. On the south side, between Pauley and Spalding Field, that's where they had the food trucks and games and tables and all that. So at 6 p.m. when it started, there was a good amount of people. Nice. By 6:45, it was packed.
This pack?
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Let's go.
And then trying to look for passes, I tried to make my way over to the Wasserman Center, and I was in disbelief because there was a line coming out of the Wasserman Center going down that one alley heading north in between Poly Pavilion, and it was halfway down Poly Pavilion. Had to have been at least 200-300 people there. Recruits and families. I was just like stunned by the fact that, I'm never going to get my pass. And second, wow, this is the most.
That was recruits and family lining up to get their passes to be out there? Yeah.
Exactly.
That was very cool.
So there was just already a buzz. It was pretty cool. So by the time the media got in, practice was at 7, so we were expected to go in at 7. They let us in about 10 minutes early just to kind of like prepare. Team was already on the field. getting loose. Recruits were coming in, and it was just loud. They had a DJ there. It was just I don't want to say a party event because it was like kind of controlled. It was just getting the energy up.
That's
and by
really
the
cool.
time practice started with their one-on-one competitions on the South Field, recruits obviously had to stay on the sideline, but recruits, the fans, family members, they're just cheering.
Was the one-on-ones
and
like an Oklahoma type of thing?
Kind of.
The Bruin Alley or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a name for it. I actually asked him, is it like a Oklahoma type situation? And who was it? I think it was Kamadrano. He says it's like not necessarily Oklahoma, kind of modified.
Well, like Josh Woods on our friend's James Williams podcast, the Belief podcast.
Yes.
The Daily News is Williams. But he was talking about how he thought they might bring back Bruin Alley. I think it was Bruin Alley, I think is what it's called. But it's like a Mora thing, and probably before Mora.
It was similar.
So
to
it's probably that.
yeah.
Maybe just the new guys, since they didn't do it under Kelly, don't know what it's supposed to be called.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm curious if I'm curious if it gets branded in the next couple weeks or whatever. If somebody asks the right
I had to
question.
bring that out. Yeah, bring that up. So first half hour is all drills, and it was pretty cool because they also let us, we have this small little space in the northwest corner of Spalding Field, but they let us kind of roam back and forth between the east end zones of both fields. So we could actually get proper, coverage, video, pictures of the quarterbacks on the south field and the offense, as
cool.
well as see what exactly, from a frontal view of like special teams and stuff like that. And then when all that's over, that's when, the media has to stop filming and taking photos and all that. So after that, we went up to the Luskin patio to, see, just to overlook what's going on. And, before I get into that, also got a big shout out to Shea Pitts, who's a defensive analyst with UCLA, former player. He was emceeing the entire thing.
Go Bruins.
And dude has a future in Hollywood.
Nice.
If not the Tonight Show or the Late Late Show or whatnot. He
Because he was on
super
fire. Funny.
He was
or
on
because he's
fire.
just charismatic.
He was both. He was also interviewing players. He interviewed Latu, Joshua Kelly.
Oh, nice.
A few others that I missed because I was focused on practice, but did a really good job of just emceeing / doing a play-by-play.
Well, that's super cool.
So that really brought a voice to Friday Night Lights, which was kind of unexpected. But overall, it just was a really fun vibe. It felt like a party,
Yeah, sounds like
if you will. A party that you can't drink at, and you have to write a report about it afterwards.
But an award-winning report. If that award were verbally given by
exactly.
Coach Deshaun Foster.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mike. All right.
First off was Bro.
Yeah.
That was Mike, right?
Hi, bro.
Yes. Good job. We're proud of you, Mikey. Okay. So. Let's talk about the actual practice.
Do it.
The people at the practice. You want to talk a little bit about who you're seeing and what's going on. Was there anything notable player-wise at the practice? Whatever.
Yeah,
At Friday Night Lights.
It's different guys stand out at each practice that I've been to, and from what Bro has reported on the other one, the other practices that I haven't been to, just different guys stand out on both sides of the ball, which is really good because I think back to the first few years. I started with Bruin Report where it was just atrocious under Chip Kelly. Those were just painful to watch because there was nothing exciting happening. Like the offense, the defense.
You talk about how he would let you watch like a drill of special teams.
Spring practice, he let us watch the entire thing.
Oh, okay.
Like for the most part, all of the spring practices, except for I think for the COVID year, we were able to watch everything. We just couldn't be on the field the entire time.
Gotcha.
Or take video, actually, to be more specific. There's talent on this team. If this team went against any of the first 3 years, any of the first 3 Chip Kelly teams, they would wipe the floor with them. You could just tell that there is talent on this team, and though it's in transition, it's adjusting to the new regime. It's just good to see that there's fun aggression, a little bit of feistiness. There's just a little bit more coming out from every player. But to be more specific, right now we have Ethan Garbers as QB1, and he looks good.
Who's QB1?
Ethan Garbers.
My name is Ethan. Just call me E.
You get used to these drops.
He looks like Ethan Garbers. He looks like he's getting a little bit.
News? Ethan Garbers looks like Ethan Garbers.
Yeah, that's my. Here's my point. It doesn't look like he's maybe made a jump yet. Hopefully, there's a whole summer, well, especially since he's learning an entirely new offense,
which is key.
Exactly. He looks like he has a good command of the offense, and still, like Deshaun Foster said in the first week, they're doing installs like every week, I think it is, every practice. So they're still learning all of this stuff, and the coaches are still learning the players to see who best works with each other. Justin Martin, if they need some legs on a quarterback, my God, that kid is fast and he can make some plays. Keegan Jones and TJ Harden are both, I think Keegan Jones is obviously a mature upperclassman, but now we have TJ Harden there.
Wait, who's the mature upperclassman?
Keegan Jones.
And what do you want to say about him?
And then you have TJ Harden.
Very good.
I think that's going to be a solid running back room with those two leading it. We have to see how the offensive line meshes and, exactly what kind of offense that they are going to put out. That helps when you're trying to, or orchestrate, a march downfield. But there have been some good plays by a lot of the offensive linemen, but there's also been some bad plays too, where some guys just miss an assignment. And I've seen plenty of defensive linemen and linebackers just go through like the A gap and just have one of those touch sacks and the play is dead.
Yeah.
So they just have to get up to speed. The offense just has to figure out how to work together. After a few games, I think they should be good.
It's certainly something that, when you're breaking into offense, this is what the problem is. Is like, the key is, will it get better? Will they be able to adjust? Will they be able to learn this in time to put together a good offensive season, right? Because you were taking something that had a lot of consistency, and you're kind of taking away the advantage of that by having a coaching change, having new coaches come in to teach what is going to be, at least to some degree, completely different from what they have been doing for the last number of years. So that's one of the things. It's like, this season's a complete unknown. Foster is an unknown at coach, although he's showing us some positive signs. Having Eric Bieniemy as your offensive coordinator could be super awesome, but it's a complete unknown because he hasn't done it in college in quite a long time.
Yeah.
So we're taking something that, like I said, would have been something to be optimistic about, and now we just turn it into a total question mark. So
yeah, exactly.
Let's hope that we're going to see some positives as we're getting closer to the actual season.
Yeah. As far as defense, I mean, they've been dominating every practice, but usually defenses do, unless you have a solid quarterback. Well, who was it that Jack Rosenfeld said he watched the game and their quarterback just annihilated their defense? I'm blanking on it right now. I shouldn't have just brought up this random fact. I'll look it up, but unless you're having a quarterback who is probably a Heisman candidate, the defenses usually know what's up. They see the offense in every practice, and so they'll have a bit of an upper hand. But the defense doesn't look horrible. We've been worried about it because there's going to be a drop off when you lose a guy like Latu, who's supposed to be a first round draft pick, as well as Muasau and the Murphy twins, possibly Carson Steele. Actually, well, he's offense. It has nothing to do with the defense. But you lose guys like that on defense.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Jack was talking about the exact opposite of what you're saying. Like, it was Penn State's quarterback having an atrocious time.
No, there was he had an atrocious time. Kind of like Miller Moss, too, at USC. But at the same time, it's like it's a spring game. You can't really...
Yeah.
You can't really take away a lot from that. But someone on the Slack channel brought up a quarterback that just cut up their defense. I can't remember what it was.
It's not bringing bells right now, but that's fine.
Yeah, right now the defense does not look horrible, and they've brought in some guys who have definitely helped. And and honestly, no, I'm gonna wait to the Twitter question, but because we said this in the last few weeks, because the defensive line needs a little bit of help. The linebackers and the secondary have looked better, and they kind of have to be, because especially the secondary hasn't been what was not a strong point under Chip Kelly. The run defense, the defensive line, that was really good under Chip Kelly, but that's not the case anymore. But we're seeing like a lot of really good stuff from like guys like Kane Madrano. Like honestly, if Kane Madrano is an edge rusher by the start of the season or midseason, I would not be surprised. He looks really good. He's slimmed out. He looks really toned. And he just looks really good coming off the edge. He has a natural ability to swim out of blocks, and that's pretty freaking good. Same with, and you brought this up too before we were recording, Olufemi Oladejo. I think he's more of a middle linebacker type, but he can also get right in there in the gap. So overall, there's just a lot of good productivity from the defense, which is good to see, because Akekam Lowe said that he wants to keep a very similar type of defense that they had last year, despite the fact that the defensive coordinator is no longer with the program, but they're keeping a lot of the same principles, and maybe just terminology is different. But they're going to try to be as aggressive. The only problem is that they
I'm curious
they
if the
need
terminology
people.
is a lot different, like, because there is a lot of consistency, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good so far. I like what I've seen from Devin Kirkwood, Clint Stevens. He's a guy who hasn't had a lot of time. He's been making some big plays. Even someone like Carl Schweitzeiger, I believe. I'm botching
Schwansticker?
that name. He's like
That's a giant Schwansticker. I've seen him. He's very tall.
He's a second, third team linebacker, but he's made some plays. And when the guys that might be scout team players are making plays in the spring, that I always like that. I think that's fantastic to see. But yeah, just for the most part, like again, there are different guys making plays on both sides of the ball at any given time during the practices. So
yeah, and something about this team, it's like the defense. They're not going to have the best defensive line in the country or the best defensive line in school history this year, because that's what happened last year, and a lot of those guys have departed, right? Mm-hmm. But they still, I still maintain, and when you take in the fact that the Big Ten offenses they're going to face aren't going to be as good as what they faced this last season, plus the fact that I don't think they're going to be as bad on defense, or the drop-off isn't necessarily going to be as bad as people are painting it out to be. They could still have a fairly competent defense if things break right for them. Now, they might not, because they are losing a lot, but there's still a possibility there.
I mean, would you say even with the regime change and here's another thing too, another notch on Foster's hat. Not a lot of we're going to talk about one person in general, but not a lot of transfers out. So that's good in keeping consistency. But yeah, would you agree that the offense might be a little better and the defense might be a little worse?
Well, that's why we just said it a minute ago. I'm worried about the offense being any better because so much is changing. If you would have told me they were going to run a similar thing to what Kelly had run, or run something very, very simple, like an end zone offense or something like that, with the personnel that they have returning, I'd say, I have no doubt they're going to be better on offense than they were this last year, because you're taking out the big thing that sunk them last year, which was, and but now you're telling me that you're changing the system completely, right? Now it's up to the air as to whether or not they'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, obviously it's going to be a completely different offense, but I'm interested to see if they do.
But they could be good.
Yeah. Well, I'm also interested to see if they do keep a lot of the elements from last year, because it was, or not specifically last year, but what Chip Kelly brought to the offense,
the Chip Kelly era,
because it was so successful. I mean, especially, I'm sure if you would ask Deshaun Foster, he would agree that they had a very efficient offense, and to take some of those elements, I think would be a fantastic idea. And obviously they're going to be doing more West Coast stuff, but I always think it's weird to just kind of like rip a system out and try to put it in with all the same parts. if you already know that these guys can do certain things, why not do what they already know in terms of play and scheme?
The biggest thing is, as we said earlier, I won't belabor it more, but it's not necessarily the plays you're running. All the plays that anybody runs are all, to a degree the same. It's just variations on things. But the problem with installing the new system is, well, this coach called that adjustment XYZ, and now the new coach is coming in and all the adjustments are called ABC. And when you call a particular adjustment, or if you're picking this adjustment over that adjustment, there's different philosophies in that way. And it's like, to a degree, it's learning a new language. Mm-hmm. It's not like learning completely, becoming fluent in Chinese or French or something.
It's like learning Mexican Spanish as opposed to Spain
Spanglish.
Spanish.
They got to go to Spanglish, right?
Spanish, yeah.
We got to get to Spanglish.
Spanglish, yeah.
Right? So so there's definitely a learning curve there, and that's before you're getting into the question of Chip Kelly, I think, undeniably, except for when you say on certain particular downs where he'd suddenly lose his mind for whatever reason or another, like short yardage, I thought he was terrible overall for as good as a coach he is. No one can deny that Chip Kelly was a pretty good play caller.
Yeah.
In pretty much every regard except for like in a couple odd moments.
Mm-hmm.
We think that Eric Bieniemy will be a pretty good play caller, I think, just based on all of his experience. But we're not going to really know until he's actually out there playing the games. And so, like I said, you take the learning curve for the system, and then are they actually going to have a good play caller? There's a lot of question marks there. So I don't know. All right, we're getting, we need to get to the chopper a little bit on this. But we do have a Twitter question. Get to the chopper! And that was related to spring practice, and it was from Junior Ortiz at Junior Ortiz 85, spelled creatively. I got a question. Good, I'm glad you asked a question.
What is it,
Junior? What transfer that's at spring ball is showing glimpses on helping us, the Bruins, this upcoming season? Mikey,
first,
have any thoughts?
And he's I guess he's a little bit banged up, but Ramon Henderson, the transfer from Notre Dame, has in every practice he's apparently just making plays, even if it's like not like getting an interception or something. He just knows where he's a safety, and especially a place of need.
Yeah.
He's just been very consistent. He's been very focused and just knows where to be. Definitely, he's a senior, so obviously he has a lot of experience. So to have a guy like him come in and just freaking pound the pavement and do what's needed to be done, he's been really impressive so far.
And, to mitigate a loss, right? That's one of the biggest losses they had in the offseason, losing Kamari Ramsey at one of the safety spots. If you have a guy coming in to, even if he's not as good, or maybe theoretically he could be better, but even if he's not as good, just if you have a certain level of competence there to mitigate what they lost, that could be, that's another thing that raises the ceiling raises the ceiling and raises the floor for what this defense is going to be going into the Big Ten. So that's good stuff.
I would say really quickly, I want to add on offense, Rico Flores, the wide receiver, he's been looking.
And where did he come from?
Is he Notre Dame as well?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Irish pipeline.
Hell yeah, dude.
Alive and well.
Look at the Irish.
Eddie Vanderdoes.
And it's like he's looked really good. Like he's kind of stood out, but it's pretty crazy that he's looked as good as he has, but yet he's been overshadowed like a guy like Titus Mokieo-Atamilala, who was pretty much absent last season, and he's been looking very good. I just wanted to throw that up because, big shout out to him who didn't play pretty much at all last season. But no, Rico Flores, and just quick shout out to Titus. But those two guys are really standing out right now.
And I would say there's another guy that's standing out, even though we haven't seen him on the field yet, and that would be the tackle that they just picked, or the offensive lineman they just picked up from UNLV. Go Rebs.
Breaking news.
Makahele. He apparently is an absolute mountain of a man, and
6'3", 350.
Nothing but help. Add either just a straight out starter or very, very much quality depth to the offensive line, which is a huge thing, and that deserves a little bit of we'll give it a little fanfare for that. Where'd it go? Yeah, there we go.
Go Bruins!
Yeah, so we're very happy about that. With that being said, though, there was some kind of terrible breaking news that we need to get through. And gee whiz, let's get to that nonsense.
What's brewing?
Breaking news
On a weekly basis.
News just in.
Now, just last week, Mike, we were still talking about the defense and, what the losses they had, but, how they were losing all these edge rushers and the floor of the defense was kind of lowered because of that. And we're like speculating as to how, good they were going to be. And I was talking about how, well, based on the offenses you're going to face in the Big Ten, it might not be that bad, yada, yada, yada. And look, and all you could say is if you have a big dude like Jay Toia, who's a straight out, 5-star bona fide, he's just a baller.
He's just a baller, man.
In the middle, taking up space and gobbling up, interior linemen and running backs, then you are ahead of the game already. And that is a anchor that you could, start your defense with and not feel bad about it, right? That's a huge, huge, huge thing. And then, like, literally the day after we post that podcast,
Yeah.
Mike,
Because it was
or somebody's like,
the day we
Jay Toia is not a practice, and I'm like, panic now. Like, I think that's what I tweeted on the What's Bruin Show account. Panic.
Yeah.
Ah!
Everybody panic.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was interesting because it wasn't the day that the portal opened. It was the day after. So the day the portal opened, it was like, Jay Toia. No. We're good, we're good, everyone. We're good. Yeah, the day of practice.
I was so pissed.
Story.
I was so pissed.
That was Thursday.
And I swear to God, Mike, I sat there, like I was at work and I started typing. I'm like, mother effer. I'm like, this is a thing that is going to turn me on the season. Like, I don't care what kind of farts and rainbows Foster's like blown out about, Friday Night Lights. At that point, I'm like, Friday Night Lights had yet to happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, the spring game, like whatever. This is something that's like, I can't believe that this program let their coach be hired away by USC. They let their best defensive player, best young defensive player, go over to USC. Friggin' John Humphreys go over to USC. You're not stepping up. The freaking commitment to this program is total fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
It was on the tongues of a lot of Bruin fans.
I was like, this is like, at that point, like you couldn't tell me a win total low enough for I was very, very down. I was like, just son of a bitch. What does this say about the program? You're a Big Ten program and you're looking to lose like the stuff from before, the defensive coordinator and Ramsey and Humphreys, that all was like together before they, with all the Chip Kelly nonsense, all wrapped up in that whole ball of shit. But going through your coaching change, and then you're telling me you're going to lose your best defensive player, probably one of your best players on your team, to the fucking portal because you can't step up and, take care of business.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just another black mark on this program.
And
my God.
You're not alone because I thought that too. There were a lot of players that were like, oh, great. UCLA doesn't have the money doesn't have the NIL, they don't have anything to keep their best defensive player.
I was so mad.
Oh, you're not the only one.
But
You're not the only one.
But wait a minute.
Hey, it was record store day on Saturday.
Did you buy any records?
I did. I bought The Great Escape by Blur.
You tweeted it.
I went to Amoeba to try to go get Ladytron, Light and Magic, but those bastards only had 12 copies and they were all sold out. You sons of... Anyway.
Okay, so, we just fucked up my record scratch. Wait, hold on. Oh my God, UCLA, it's just a terrible state of affairs. Jay Toia is leaving.
What's brewing?
breaking news
On a weekly basis.
News just in.
Wait a second. Jay Toia is coming back to UCLA? Jay Toia has left the portal? Jay Toia is going to be a Bruin this year in 2024?
After Thursday's practice, Deshaun Foster said, oh, no, I think it was after Friday Night Lights.
It was Friday Night.
He was asked about Jay Toia.
I was still pouting on Thursday night.
He was asked about Jay Toia, and he did say that Monday they should have a definitive answer of that situation. And so, whatever, Friday Night Lights happens, all the fanfare and fervor, UCLA fans are reveling in. And we go through the weekend. Monday comes, and
at some point there was
no
some
word
sort
yet. There was a tweet about Jay Toia being at the Texas spring game.
That's right.
So that was like, oh, great,
rip,
great. We're Texas,
son of a bitch.
We're going to compete against Texas.
Yeah.
And then
Doesn't feel like there's any excitement for UCLA football.
But then,
in my opinion, what started kind of, well, I guess every behind the scenes thing started before that, but Men of Westwood, the NIL collective for UCLA athletics, sent out their own boom, which kind of is interpreted as a big donation.
Go Bruins!
And when that happened, I just kind of thought, did someone step up and give a big donation so that we could retain Jay Toia? And it's not clear if that was the case.
but if you connect the dots,
Exactly. Because a couple hours later, it's announced Jay Toia is staying at UCLA.
that's awesome.
This board is amazing.
God, I'm so happy. You know how happy that made me.
It's so, right?
Like, and it's like, really, it's not fair.
On different levels.
One
On different
player
levels.
of a swing, it's like, it shouldn't make that. But this is like, to me, I kind of feel like this is the thing where it's like, if he leaves and he's gone, it's just one more piece of negativeness that is like just pulling the program down into this fucking sucking vortex, like this black hole, right? It's just another thing like, oh, even though they seem to pivot okay, even though they had a horrible timing in the coaching change, they pivoted into something that looks like it may be sort of a positive in Foster, but still, at the end of the day, what's happening? We're still losing our best players. Like, it's still happening, right?
Yeah.
But no, it turns out not. We do have a lot of positive to say about Foster changing the kind of the zeitgeist of the program. We do have positive reviews of booms and financial booms and all that stuff. And this is one of the, we've said it a million times, huge question marks about the on-the-field product right now because so much has changed and we aren't going to know until September. However, this is a concrete thing that happened that we can say, goddamn right, yeah, this is good. They kept one of their guys, one of their best guys, and it's a guy that they definitely wanted to keep, and he wanted to stay, and they made it happen. And that is a huge,
Go Bruins.
Go Bruins.
big thing, right? Now, what I don't think we can characterize this as is some big recruiting win. Well, I don't know, Mike. I've heard some people characterize it as a big recruiting win against the likes of the SEC and Texas and yada, yada, yada. How do you look at it from that respect? Is this a recruiting victory or something else or what?
Oh, I definitely think it's a big recruiting victory. It's a big NIL victory, and it shows that UCLA is they're serious. And again,
UCLA won.
It did not take that much effort. Okay, the guys behind the scenes, men at
Well, the guy ran that check, it took a little bit of effort for that motherfucker.
That's true. That's
Jeez,
true.
Mike.
But it just shows how just very little it takes to have fan engagement to say, hey, we need a little bit of help with this. And the fans will be like, gotcha. We got it. We're good. We're good. Texas wants him? Nah. He's staying here. The one thing I'm worried about is that this was a huge victory for UCLA off the field, but it's only the first in a way. UCLA has to keep this up because the Alabamas, the Texas, the Ohio States, and the Michigans, or the Oregons, the USCs, they're still ahead of the game. This is not, UCLA is not out of the woods yet. They got one guy. They have to keep it up. And I think it's just with something with like Friday Night Lights and just getting more people interested and involved. Honestly, that's all it takes. And that is what's going to help this go forward to bring more collective money in and to be able to bring in more top quality athletes.
And I would say that, I agree with a lot of the content that you just said there, Mike, but I want to not classify this as some sort of huge recruiting victory because it wasn't a recruiting victory. This was retaining a guy that you already have, right? I think it says something about your program, which is in the Big Ten. It's in one of the two major conferences. It's there for the first time, and there's been a lot of turmoil associated with the program right now. But at the end of the day, UCLA is a Big Ten program, and it should not be losing its best players to other teams in the Big Ten. It should not be losing its best players to SEC teams. It should not be losing, by the way, in other news, Kyle Ford transferred back to USC. And it's kind of like, Okay, whatever. He underachieved at UCLA. He went back to familiar ground. That's kind of like, okay, fine, whatever. They kind of let him go.
They got to do what they got to do. I can't hate on Cal Ford because it wasn't a great situation. He's a good receiver, but he might be better at USC.
I was very sad to see him go. However, it's not the same thing as them retaining Jay Toia, right?
Yeah.
Jay Toia was one of your big-time performers for you, and you definitely wanted to keep him. And in a way that they did not manage to keep Kamari Ramsey, in a way they did not manage to keep, to a lesser degree, John Humphreys. But they kept Jay Toia, right? They kept Jay Toia, and this should just be par for the course for this point. It was a ginormous, horrible sign when you lost those guys in November, December. This is a sign that they are getting their shit together and that this is what it takes to be a serious football program.
Yeah.
Do we know they're serious yet? No.
You know
but
what?
This is a sign that they may be.
80s kids, you ready for this? You know what this was?
What?
This was Daniel LaRusso winning his first fight in the All Valley tournament. And then the song comes up, "You're the best around, nothing's gonna ever keep you." And
This is before they swept the lake?
This is
the
before they
crane
swept the
kick,
lake.
or this is before that?
This is all victories. He's getting, he's getting wins. He's getting towards his goal. This is what it is.
We can only hope. That's a nice
Exactly.
Reseda reference,
Exactly.
Mike. We're only 10
Goddamn
miles
right.
from there.
Damn right it is.
I'm sorry, less than 10 miles.
Love the Valley.
Anyway. Oh, Mike, I like that. I'll take the Valley love. But I don't want to. This is not them going to a neutral dude and saying and battling it out with Texas and Alabama and Oklahoma or whatever and coming away with the recruit, which is a whole nother type of battle. Mm-hmm. This is just what is required for you to be a serious football team. And I'm glad that they're finally, the actually recruiting high school students, the actually giving out high school offers, the actually trying to publicize your team, the actually engaging with the press, the actually holding events for your fans. Like, these are all things that serious football programs do that UCLA has been woefully underdoing for 6-7 years. Why? We won't mention. Oh, wait.
Chip Kelly can kind of be a dick.
God bless him, but he could be a dick. And this is one of the ways in which he was a dick. So this is just not a recruiting victory for me, but it is a victory, right? And hopefully it is a sign of more positive things to come, even though the jury is out on so much about this football program.
Do you think we drink too much?
No, we don't drink too much. Men face reality, women don't. That's why men need to drink.
I hate it when podcasters talk about what they're drinking.
That little weirdo makes the best Manhattan I've ever had.
What else am I gonna drink, Bob? A fucking Fresca?
No, it's not a Fresca tonight, Mikey, but it is the What's Bruin Symposium. Conversation over drinks.
I love this.
That's what we're having tonight. And thank you for joining us. Mikey, what are you having this evening?
Okay, in you know how 80s sitcoms have their main show and then they have like spin-offs?
Mm-hmm.
If there's ever a spin-off to the What's Bruin show, it's got to be the WBS Jazz Whiskey Hour or something like that. This is awesome.
I'm all about it. And just give me a smoking jacket so I can not smoke and drink, but then I will drink. And it'll be all good.
Oh, we gotta get smoky jackets. That'd be dope.
Right.
Anyway,
What's Bruin smoking jackets? Come to you. What are you drinking, Mike? This theme song's only so long. We got a minute 46 left.
This actually just hit me. I know I did a ban on Stone, but I've also been really into hazy IPA.
Oh, yeah.
And so I grabbed this, forgetting that it's Stone, just because kind of getting into the fruity IPAs and the hazy IPAs. And maybe I am a hipster, Jake.
Definitely.
I might have to
readjust your identity.
I'm still indie.
You are
going
definitely
with that,
indie, Mike. But indie hipster are not necessarily mutually exclusive.
But the hazies lately, I don't know. Just I like you know me. I like beer. I also like flavor in my beer.
Yes, you do.
I hate Corona because there's absolutely no flavor. This hazy IPA by Stone, I do recommend it if you're not anti-Trojan at the time. So,
which we always are, but hey,
true.
We'll let it pass.
True, exactly.
Very good.
What are you drinking?
I just, I had a cocktail I wanted to try making, but I didn't have time tonight. So I just went, in honor of my Canadian trip we're going to go on very soon. I just went with good old basic Crown Royal. which you can't go wrong with a nice, basic Canadian whiskey. And it's not going to hurt your pocketbook too much either. So I got a full handle of that in the kitchen. I think I got it from Costco or whatever for relatively cheap. And Malcolm wanted me to buy it, even though this is not the bottle he was talking about, because apparently Crown Royal bottles are like unbreakable when you throw them off roofs or something. So we haven't tested that theory out yet, but that may be coming your way. But thank you for listening to What's Brewing Symposium for how much, Mike? How much a month?
$2.
$2.
You can send the What's Brewing Show into the future by joining us on patreon.com, whatsbrewinshow.com, or Substack, whatsbrewinshow.com. Thank you very much. Mikey, I didn't want to mess with the great segue there, so I let it trail off, but I think I might have got all the addresses wrong for the actual show, but they're in the show notes, right? It's definitely whatsbrewinshow.com for Patreon.
You all know where we're at.
$2 a month, and the Substack is like substack.whatsbrewing.com or something. But thank you very much for supporting us. Mikey, we have some more headlines to get to, bro-affiliated headlines with Mike. What's on your mind, big guy?
Hi, bro. Well, yeah, we're kind of going at this backwards because...
normally we start the show with this, but we're kind of just doing a show headline.
It was... Jake, I have some basketball talk. You're just going to have to accept it.
God
the off-season...
I would like to avoid the basketball shows for as long as possible.
Incorporates all Bruin sports.
That's fine, but where are we doing it? Like you said, we're starting backwards. No, we're not backwards. Unless it's literally basketball season and literally not football season, we're starting with football, Mike. I might end with football too. We're starting with football. So don't give me this bullshit about.
I see your point, but we haven't done headlines, which is why,
as we just mentioned, we are a serious football program now, and the What's Bruin Show is a serious football program now. Let's go.
We need to get some Rutgers podcasts, football podcasts on here. I'm just
go
saying.
ahead and do your little basketball talk.
All right, thank you, Jake. Condescending little. Anyway, last week,
hey Mike,
Emily Bessoir, who had I believe one or two seasons of eligibility left. She decided to call it a career for UCLA.
Oh wow!
She's moving on from the Bruins. Last year she was not with UCLA because she re-injured her ACL that she tore 2 years prior, which was unfortunate. But
total bummer.
And she was an awesome stretch four. But she's moving on. But we also had some breaking news at Bruin Report Online, in which, I said.
What's brewing? Breaking news on a weekly basis.
News just in. Hi, bro.
We also broke the news that Lena Sonntag, the German forward, sophomore, she was a big contributor to last season's success. She is actually retiring from basketball. That's not it, Jake. Christina Iwuala, who I thought was going to be a huge contributor to the Bruins in the future, under the rim, she's apparently going into the transfer portal. So right there.
Bummer.
Prior to Friday, UCLA had 12 scholarship players on their roster. Women's basketball is allowed to have 15, so 2 scholarships open. With these 3 now moving on, they have 5 scholarships open. That's both good and bad.
Sounds rumpy-pumpy.
As I said, Iwuala I thought would be a big contributor. Sonntag has been a contributor. If Bessoir were to come back, she would have been a huge contributor, possibly starter for UCLA. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. And now UCLA has to do a little bit of work on the recruiting trail, on the transfer recruiting trail, hoping to bring in at least, I would say, at the minimum, they need to bring in 2 players. Bringing in 4 would probably be very ideal.
So, Mike,
3 would be ideal.
You just talked about them losing 3 players. Yes? Okay. Only one of them is actually going to go play somewhere else. Is that accurate?
As of now,
we know of.
It was weird because Bessoir's Instagram post was a bit cryptic. She didn't say she was retiring. She just said she just alluded to the fact that she's moving on from UCLA.
Oh, okay. So
Sonntag is retiring, per sources. And Iwuala, she's transferring. She's looking for another situation. So is this some sort of? Does this say anything about the state of the program right now, or is this all just like kind of normal attrition you might expect from players that maybe aren't the best
on the team, but
Yes,
still
the latter.
contributors?
The latter, yes. Obviously, you need role players, and these were some really solid role players that could really help out. And honestly, I think that Iowala, out of all three of them, could have been it probably has the biggest upside, but you're not losing key contributors like Kiki or Lauren or Gabriella or London, so that's good in a way. But still, UCLA is now down to only 10 scholarships, which they have to figure out. So that's going to be on. I'm going to be looking out for that in the near future. The men, kind of an opposite
Nick Cronin's
situation.
done a hell of a job this year.
He's definitely done a hell of a job in the transfer portal, because last week he brought in a fourth transfer, Tyler Bilodeau, the forward from Oregon State, who
just a baller, man.
Even though Oregon State was not a great team, he was regarded as one of the better forwards in the conference. So to land him, huge, especially a 6'9" player, awesome. And that's adding to Sky Clark, Kobe Johnson, and Eric Daly, who
Straight baller.
Are also
He's
joining
just a baller, man.
Are also joining the Bruins. So experience wise, the Bruins, the men's team, they stocked up.
I like UCLA to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's interesting transfer situations. The transfer portal, we may hate it, we have to adapt to it, but it's forever cycling above our heads, and then these are just two different examples.
But this is also like a temporary situation. At some point, they're going to figure out how to deal with the fact that it's the most free sport right now as far as movement goes, with basically no restrictions.
Yeah.
And just willy-nilly movement.
Yeah.
And just like, hey, you want this money over here? Come on over here. Oh, wait. Oh, you want that money over there? Okay, I guess go over there. Like, it's insanely open and free right now, and they have to come up with something to find a balance in the force, don't they?
Exactly.
We don't know when they're going to.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're going to come up with something that works or something that's going to be equally broken, just in a different way.
Equally broken.
Right? You know, I mean, but this is a moment in time, I think you can say, for UCLA or for NCAA football and basketball and any other sport that happens to have an athlete that is worth, some sort of money, for publicity.
Yeah.
But I'm real clear. This is the window, and eventually this window is going to close, and then there's going to be some other window opening. So I guess it's we're happy that UCLA basketball, at least men's, is thriving in this window.
Yeah.
But it's like, get it while the getting's good, I guess, because who knows what the next thing will be,
Mhm.
right? But hopefully it can be equally adept in navigating that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm curious to see where it goes. All right, Mikey. There was also some headline, I want to say, we're getting back to the Men of Westwood, getting back to the artist formerly known as Ethan Young, who's departed the program, but now UCLA's still doing booms, or they're not doing booms, or they're going to come up with some new gimmick or whatever. Was there more kind of cryptic sort of news coming out of either the UCLA program or Men of Westwood, or some version of Men of Westwood where they're like putting out some sort of tweet or whatever?
Well, we
don't know what it means yet?
Well, I actually just received this. Okay, so Men of Westwood, 2 hours ago from when we recorded, they put out a GIF with a coffee cup and it says, anyone want a cup?
Oh. Anyone want a cup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cuppa Joe?
Cuppa?
Yeah.
Like coffee, not like a athletic
Exactly.
cup, because we're talking about athletics.
And I put, do we have another large UCLA donation or commitment? And there was a response that said, the decryptions, it seems that the Men of Westwood boom with two smiley faces is a large NIL donation. Boom with basketballs for the O's are large men basketball NIL donation.
Mm-hmm.
And a boom latte, whatever the hell that is a commitment.
How would a boom latte look?
Coffee.
Like a cup of coffee?
But latte is not coffee, so I don't get.
But they're calling it a boom latte?
Sure.
We could also call it like a boom coffee or an espresso boom.
Boom cuppa. Why not?
Boom bean, a bean a boom.
Oh.
See, I mean, I'm really good at this. Why nobody pays for this shit? I have no idea.
Right?
But like,
why have we've done this for 10
like
years?
every
Why have we
tweet
not
should,
been
like,
picked up yet?
Every tweet should have a drop on it like this. That's the White Stripes. That's a little low. I'm sorry for the volume. Or we could do one like this. There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying. So we're still trying to figure that part out, right?
Mm-hmm.
What that actually means. Okay.
Yeah. So it seems like that's you kind of have to look at the symbols. You have to look in between the lines. Whatever. It's almost summer. I'm ready for a vacation, but
that's good though. Well, it's fun. They're trying. It's fun. They're trying. But like I said, we can come up with a better. We can come up with some good names for this.
Yeah.
So,
Dude.
All right. Very good.
Do this all summer long.
Very good. So there's that. That's a good.
Hi,
bro. Mikey, do we have any other headlines? Oh, you want to talk a little bit about your article you're doing for the for Bro? Highlighting the draft in some way, shape, or form. You're working on something, aren't you?
Yeah. No, that should be coming out in the next day or two because the draft is on Thursday of this week when you're listening, and just giving a breakdown of selection projections. Who just played at Coachella this past weekend? Big shout out to James Williams.
James Williams
got to cover that.
Tweeting out there at Coachella.
Lucky jerk.
How the fuck does he get to do that? You're the music guy. You're like literally a DJ.
Thank you.
Somebody pay Mike to go cover Coachella.
Thank you.
Somebody pay me to go cover Coachella.
Thank you.
You know why?
We'd be awesome.
Because we could be awesome.
We'd have a tandem like
everybody.
Hey, I'm going to go see Blur. Or you're going to go see Big Joe? Let's switch.
James Williams, God bless him. I love him to death. He's like 22 years old, dude. I mean, come on. What's he know about concerts?
He's older than that.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, I did see Blur streaming this. It was funny. Okay, another sidebar, music sidebar. Last week, the first weekend at Coachella, there was this whole thing about Blur being mad at the audience not singing, and then Damon Albarn addressed it, saying yeah, the world news brought this up, and we're just happy to have fun. But there was also some breaking news apparently Blur, this will be their last concert.
Say it isn't so.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my God. Exactly. Wait, this Coachella's their last show?
Yeah.
Molly is going to be crushed. Molly's going to be crushed. She really wanted. We almost went to see Blur.
Dude, let's go see Pulp in September.
We might.
Dude, I think I have a ticket secured. Like I have a friend who said like, yeah, I have an extra. I'm like, is it for me?
Yeah.
Because I would die for Pulp. They're also doing a concert at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Like, oh my gosh.
Well, let's go see that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's go see that.
It's sold out already.
Damn it.
But
I'll work on it.
Yeah, exactly. Back channels and such.
I mean, look up at my little art exhibit up there. Who on that poster was out at Coachella this weekend that I definitely would have seen because I definitely saw her entrance on a motorcycle into the concert. One Lana Del Rey is up there on the board. Damn it.
I also have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of No Doubt. I'm a fan of early No Doubt.
Oh, well, who isn't?
Exactly.
We were contemporaries.
Move on.
Literally, one of our friends who ended up being at UCLA undergrad, went to Rutgers. Now he's a philosophy professor at Cal State Northridge. Adam Swenson, shout out to him. He was in a ska band himself, and he hung out with the likes of like Real Big Fish and Save Ferris, and he actually contributed money to the fund that got Monique's
Pell
pierced. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, really, for sure.
Wow,
yeah.
random.
Anyways, yeah. Anyways,
okay.
Weird story, but anyways, yes, we liked old No Doubt.
Oh, exactly. So I got to say, that was brought back some memories of the high school and college years.
Regardless, they're very talented musicians.
They are. It was very.
I saw them at the Showcase Theater in Norco. What's up, Dave?
Right
out there in Norco.
Oh, dude,
go on 909. I saw Gwen Stefani climbing a pillar of speakers. She was like 30 feet in the air.
She did that this weekend
on her back, and it was awesome. It was awesome, and I was like 10 feet from her.
Oh yeah.
So
it was awesome.
Whatever they went pop. Who cares?
I do peruse the channels just to that's always been a thing with.
Should I just hit the "What's Brewing with You" button right now?
I know, right?
Let's just do that. Let's get back into this. We apologize for the digression, but
it's almost over anyway. We're done with the sports.
With you? You ask me what's brewing with me. Yeah. What's brewing with you? What's brewing with me? What's brewing with you?
So you saw.
I always like going to Coachella because I wanted to see the bands I wanted to see, but there are so many bands that you just can't ignore. You'll just be walking
You're
by
gonna be
and
missing
go
something.
like, "Oh my God, what is that?"
Yeah.
I did. Obviously, I wasn't there this weekend, but I was looking at some of the streams. I stopped on this one band called Jungle, which I can best describe as jazz synth pop.
Nice.
Very good band.
Sounds fun.
Live from what I saw and from the recordings, I'm definitely going to invest some time with that. But as far as what's brewing with me, God, it's been a crazy.
Before you get into yours,
please go ahead.
I just want to say my favorite part about Coachella is that, generally speaking, the hack is a lot of the acts that go to Coachella, at least they have in the past. This is definitely a pre-COVID thing. They play LA. They'll play a show in LA. I can't tell you how many bands I saw in small venues in Los Angeles, like, whatever, like at the I can't think of anything right now, but like the Wiltorn or smaller, right? The Fonda, something like that. The Mayan
Secret
or whatever.
shows, stuff like that.
Small shows they would do
Blur
in between the
played
weekends.
at the Fox Theater in Pomona.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they do it around Coachella. And it's like, I could go to this giant festival and sit out there and bake in the desert, or I could watch this band and be 10 feet from them.
Yeah.
Great opportunity.
Not so much of a thing this year.
I know.
I
hope it gets back to it. It was like really a pre-COVID thing.
Low Coachella?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a thing.
I love that.
Although I do appreciate the YouTube streaming, but still.
That's all good. Mikey, what is actually brewing with you?
It was, obviously, my trials and tribulations lately. I had car issues. I've had emotional breakdowns. I've had... no, this weekend especially, very, very busy. I had the Friday Night Lights on Friday.
Yeah, you did.
Which was the day of my daughter's, Poppy's birthday.
Go Bruins! Go Poppy.
It was her 12th birthday, but she went out to dinner with her siblings and her friends. So Saturday was our day, and I don't know if any of y'all have done an escape room. But,
you did the escape room.
But Violet and I have done escape room.
Very cool.
Violet is my oldest daughter. Poppy has wanted to do it. Poppy is she is very she loves puzzles. She loves trying to figure things out. So.
A curious child.
I brought it up to her and she was like, yes, I've been wanting to do it. So we we did this one escape room in Hollywood called the Magic Illusionist. Funnest thing ever I've done with my kids. And it's
Don't
weird
give
because
the secret away, Mike.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. But
they'll come and kill you.
But we did take down our rival magician. So
good job.
F that guy.
Yeah.
It was
Totally.
funny because
for real.
Because Hugo is still
F that guy for real.
Hugo's still 9, so he's kind of like trying to figure out what he likes and he doesn't like. So he was getting a little freaked out. I'm like, dude, this isn't horror. This is like a little spooky, a little creepy, just Harry Potter type stuff. So he kind of got into it, but it was just really funny seeing all of my kids just running around trying to figure out puzzles and shit like that. And we had a good time. Like afterwards, we're like, we definitely have to do this again.
Sweet.
It was also record store day too. So we also, after that, we went to Amoeba and tried to pick out a couple of our...
Although don't treat your records like that.
Exactly. No. Unless you're scratching, which, respect. Excuse me. As I said previously, I did get... I almost got a Rammstein, but that was taken over by Blur. And exactly. Heinz Fein. I was originally supposed to try to get Ladytron. They were sold out. They only had 12 copies. FM. And then Poppy wanted a taco bar for her birthday, so I just made just a ton of stuff for tacos. The kids were just eating like for days, for hours actually, because I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning on Sunday. Why? To take my daughter Violet, my oldest daughter Violet, to the airport for her first trip across the country.
Nice.
For her 8th grade East Coast historical trip.
Which she's on currently.
She's currently on. We actually just paused the show just a little while ago so I can talk to her. Every day she's sending me pictures. I am cool. So excited. I'm basically reliving my 8th grade East Coast historical trip through her. And it's just really fun.
I almost got to do that with Molly because I was teaching at a school district that had that option. But then like Sarah was like, yeah, you guys don't get to just go by yourselves. And then we ended up going like a couple years later. Like we went.
Yeah.
3 years ago, we did our East Coast trip and we just did it as a family.
And it's funny because like these first 4 days,
Love
they're all in Washington, D.C., just taking in, obviously, history.
Go Dodgers.
Tomorrow they get to go to Philadelphia. They're going to go do the Go Birds, the Liberty Bell, the Independence Hall.
They're going to go see the Always Sunny bar, right? I mean, that's part of the stops.
I recommended it.
Shit.
Don't know if they're going to take it into consideration.
Fucking schools, man. This is bullshit.
And it's near there too, but
That's bullshit.
and then the
man.
day after, their last 3 days on this trip is in New York. And Violet's been
I love NYC.
I freaking love it. It's such an amazing city.
Yeah.
I'm telling her, like, look, you've been walking all day every day.
Do you know what
for
the stops are in New York City? What are they going to do?
They are going to do some historical stuff, but a lot
They're
of
like
it
pretty
too-
much in Manhattan the whole time, though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if, for example, they're going to go see a Broadway show. They're going to go see
What?
The Outsiders on Broadway. I did. I went to go see Phantom of the Opera on my 8th grade trip.
That's
Blew
such
my
a cool
freaking
trip.
mind. Yeah,
That's such a cool trip.
I'm so jealous of her.
Although, I mean, it'd be way cooler if they went, instead of going to the Outsiders, they went and saw like Hedwig and the Angry Inch or something. I mean, that would
It's
be like,
not there
super
yet.
awesome.
It's not there yet. But yeah, exactly. But I'm just like, so, you've been to DC, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, monuments, the city's capital.
The
It's like,
mall,
oh,
the whole
there's
thing, yeah.
oh. I told her today on my phone call, I was like, wait till you get to New York. She's
Oh,
never
it's
been.
so cool.
It's gonna blow her freaking mind. I'm
Yeah.
like, take all the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been going on. That's
very
what's
cool.
going on with me right now. Like 8th graders and birthdays and yeah. Oh, and Hugo got glasses. So yeah.
That's
So
very
there's
nice.
that. So Jake, what's brewing with you?
I'm going to keep it short because you got a very nice What's Brewing with You.
It's
I'll
so
just say a
long.
couple things. Number one, I went to Catalina over the weekend and we had a falconing adventure. And now,
falconing?
yes. So we met like 3 awesome falcons. I'm sorry, 2 falcons, a hawk, and an owl. And I'll post a couple pictures on the What's Brewing Show thing. But out at Catalina, it's at the Descanso Beach Club in the summer. This is the first weekend they did it. And if you end up at Catalina at any time over the summer and you want to have some fun with some awesome birds of prey, just do that tour. It's everything that you book in Catalina is through like the Catalina Conservancy or the Catalina Island Club or whatever. So it's like it's easy to find. All I have to do is say do the falconry, and there's literally one place you sign up. But the guy is a retired fireman, his wife, and then they have an assistant who is British that they just took on this summer, and they're all very, very knowledgeable and very, very cool, and you get to see some very, very, very cool birds. And I got to put on the freaking glove.
Oh,
and
nice.
Call the falcon to me and have it like fly directly at me and land on my hand and like eat food out of my hand. It was so cool.
So Jake, you were literally leather fist?
Definitely, yeah. It was awesome. And it was just an unbelievable experience. And like the guy's a really cool dude. He just retired from being a Catalina fireman, and now he just does this as his like retirement job or whatever.
What a dick.
He's awesome.
Can you imagine
He's
that?
awesome.
Oh,
But
I'm done being a fireman. Now I'm
Mike-
just gonna retire and train falcons.
and live on Catalina, basically. Yeah, it's
Right.
awesome. Him and his wife, they're very cool people. But anyways, we were like the first people of the summer to book the tour because they didn't like the Catalina Conservancy didn't realize that the tour was open already. So I just kind of booked it. But anyways, I had an hour and a half with these birds and the trainers just to ourselves.
Yeah.
Very cool. But the long and short of it is, when I retire in a few scant years here, there might be falconry in Jake's future. Like it might be the What's Bruin Show, Symposium, Bar and Grill, and Falconry Northwest Valley Falconry Club. I don't know. Like it could be because he's telling me the way to do it. Like I could either have a peregrine falcon or I could have a red-tailed hawk. That's what people in California, noobs, novices that go take the falconry test, that's what we can own.
Yeah.
And he said red-tailed hawks are big, and by the way, they're all over the valley, but their poops smell, so you got to leave them outside. Or you can have a peregrine falcon, which is small. The poops don't smell at all. You can have that in the house.
Wow.
Either way, I may be a falconer at some point. Like and
I'm interested.
You know what, dude?
I'm interested.
Don't
Tell
F
me.
with me because I will send my falcon at you and he will claw at your eyes. Not you, Mike, but I'm saying like any threats. So that will mean I'll have a 180-pound grizzly dog and a falcon. You know, I'll be one step closer. All I'll need, this is the punchline of this. All I'm going to need is a fucking ferret. And all of a sudden, Mike, who the fuck am I? I'm Beastmaster. Mark Singer.
Right.
I am Beastmaster. And I'm just one step closer.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Let's go.
That is awesome.
All right. That's what's real.
That movie freaked me out, but it was
Love that movie.
awesome.
It was so awesome. The eyes and the weird
Beastmaster.
things.
Yeah, I was like, oh God.
Underrated
good.
performance by who? Tanya Roberts. Super hottie of the 70s and 80s.
Also,
later the mom on that 70s show of Donna. Tanya Roberts.
Oh my God.
All-time
that's
hottie.
right.
James Bond, a Bond girl. Not to
Forgot
digress.
about that.
We need to get to the
It's
top.
weird.
here and end the show.
I always thought about was it Rip Taylor? No, not
Oh,
Rip.
God.
Rip.
No, Rip Torn was
Rip Torn.
in that.
Rip
Goddamn,
Torn.
he's the
The
villain.
bad guy. Yes.
No, but the hot chicken was Tanya freaking Roberts, bro.
That's right.
Let's get to the show.
All right.
Get to the chopper!
All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining the What's Bruin Show for our hot Falcon talk.
Hot Beastmaster talk.
I'm telling you, I'm almost there. You know what? I'm almost there. Bill can be a carpenter, right? You can be a DJ. I'm gonna have a fucking Falcon, and it's gonna be awesome. He's gonna go,
I want a Falcon.
hey,
Go Birds.
all you gotta do is take it. Go Birds! All right, What's Bruin Show's over. God bless you, Mike. Until next time, what do we say?
Go Bruins.
Good evening.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That was the What's Bruin Show.
Try us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's gotta be in or out, Mom. In or out. Well, I need the door closed.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Dude, bro, we play some ball on the West Coast.
The final word is boob.